Coming up on the Weekly Pass, we've got lots to talk about. Stanley Cup champions, NBA champions, Triple Crown winner, Mike Smith, all that and more coming up.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome back to the Weekly Pass. I'm Bonnie Jill Laflin, and yes, it is a day of champions. Champions in hockey, champions NBA, horse racing, all of it.
All of it.
And we're so glad to be back here. Again, I'm Bonnie Jill Laflin. You can find me on Twitter at BJ Laflin and on Instagram, Facebook at Bonnie Jill. And you can find David on David H. Bloom and at Becky Sotero, my lovely co-host. And I don't know, but this is just an exciting past week, whatever you want to call it. It was just an amazing time in sports.
It has been a wild week. I mean, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I feel depressed. Like I need to take antidepressants because sports are over.
It's kind of like now, like what do you know? It's,
We went through that entire thing. Now we're here. Like we were here, and this is just kind of the drop.
Yeah,
now.
no basketball, no hockey. I'm like, I have tennis, I guess.
When I got my baseball, I got my Giants. But yeah, it's like that time where it seemed like everything happened at once.
Yeah. Oh, it did. It was literally
within days.
Yeah, one day. Yeah.
And then it was over. And it was sad, but all good. All good. I'm happy for who won, and obviously I'm very happy about Mike Smith winning.
Yes, you are.
Of course.
Our good friend of the show, and I was actually there, and it was pretty.
Tell us about it.
Phenomenal just to see him, win this race. That's the only thing he has not done. Is in his career is win the Triple Crown, and that was me in the winner's circle with the Baffert's assistant trainer. I was so excited. That's Justify's saddle pad, and I was like going crazy. Like I was so emotional. Like when he crossed the finish line, even though the race wasn't like he was really challenged or contested much,
right?
Especially in the stretch, I was like crying because it was so exciting. When your friend finally does something.
Sure.
I mean, it's more emotional when you know the
in history, right?
And this was his celebration dinner that we had afterwards.
Oh, wonderful! Look at this.
I look tall.
You do.
You look tall. He's a good friend. It makes you look tall.
I'm gonna hang out with jockeys more.
My big old fascinator hat. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty amazing. He's the 13th horse justified to do that. We know American Pharoah did it in 2015. But what was really neat is to know that he is 6-0, so he's the second horse to do it undefeated. So
it's just
crazy.
That blows your mind for sure.
The last horse that did it was 1977 Seattle Slew.
Sure.
And then the second horse to actually do it, because if you guys saw the race, he was in the one hole, which is against the rail, and only him and Secretariat are the only horses to ever do that.
That's a rough spot to start from, right?
Really, that's why he had such a good break, and I said, if he breaks well, he's golden. And if you guys watch the race, which is a long race, a mile and a half.
Longer than you think. Because you look at mile and a half, you think, well, it's like a minute and something race. Like, that's it? That's the entire... No, it's a lot, especially for them. And, I mean, all this hype's around it, you think it's so short, but, like, it's a lot for those horses and for those jockeys and for everyone watching.
Yeah, and especially, a lot of those horses have fresh legs. That's the only race they did throughout the Triple Crown.
Exactly. Right.
And Justify had to do this, every other week.
In the rain, too.
Yeah, and it just shows that horse is a beast.
That's a special horse.
I mean,
a really special horse.
He really is, and he's beautiful.
Oh my God!
You saw him close up, like
and I'm going to go visit him again. He goes back to she's at Churchill Downs, and that's where he was in between because it's easier for him to stay at Churchill than travel all the way back to the West Coast because he's usually stabled here at Baffert's Barn at Santa Anita.
Oh wow!
Oh, okay.
Right, and I'd love to bring you guys out.
Yes,
that'd be amazing.
That would be kind of nice for you guys to kind of meet him. And God, he's gorgeous.
Goodness.
But so now what's next for him is people are wondering like what happens to these horses after they win. Does he go straight to the breeding shed? Which that's one of the things that people are talking about because it's $75 million that Coolmore has purchased for his breeding rights for him to.
Really?
Just a little bit of money, right?
That's
do you have $75 million?
A little bit of money just to throw around.
I mean, I just spent all mine.
Yeah, if I maybe check the bank, maybe I'll have maybe close to that.
And not too bad, right? He just gets to like have some fun time with some mares, and and that's about it.
So is the horse retired?
No, he will run through this rest of this season.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Either he'll go to the Travers, which will be the big stakes race at Saratoga in New York, or he'll be at the Pacific Coast Classic in Del Mar in San Diego, both in August. So he has a little time to rest, and then he'll go for the big race, which is Breeders' Cup in November, which is a $3 million
Which Mike was saying that's his thing, his forte.
So I'd love to bring you guys out to meet this horse.
That'd be amazing.
And then we're going to have Mike in here in studio.
Great.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful picture of you guys. I'm glad you got to celebrate that. What was his feeling? I mean, obviously he was jubilant.
He kept saying he was in shock.
Sure.
You know,
I mean, I'd be in shock.
I don't think it really
Sure.
like, you know how things are when things
Yeah.
happen, like all that, everything happening at once, it kind of hasn't really settled in where you could decompress and actually
He's had an
enjoy
exciting
it.
month. So yeah, I'm sure it
That's-
takes a little time for that to digest.
Yeah, and if you notice, he talked about this when he crosses the finish line. He's such a humble guy. He doesn't do all this stuff. He really keeps it close, and then when he comes around, then he'll thank
Yeah.
the
I
Lord, and that's about it.
I saw a video of, I can't remember who's next to him, but someone next to him. He's just sitting there on the horse, and he's like, "Congrats, Mike, you did it, congrats!" And he's just sitting there on the horse, like stayed there, like
Right.
head forward, like he's still running the race, and the horse to keep going so they can like
Yeah.
calm down, and he's still there, no arms up, no nothing, and then once he finally gets off, I mean,
Well,
of
you
course,
guys know, you guys
celebrate.
spoke with him. He's very humble.
Well,
He's such a great guy.
And I love
So
too.
humble.
He was talking about part of the reason why he doesn't do that is because he doesn't want to scare the horse, and it's just so interesting how he's so in tune
Nice
Oh,
with
and in tune with the
Justify. You
horse.
know, like they're one. I don't know. That was
There's
really
one
special.
funny thing he said. Someone asked him, "Oh, so what were you thinking when you're crossing the line?" He goes, "I just want to stay on." You know, like you're just
Can you imagine?
Yeah, you're just. There's so much going on. He just like,
Yeah.
I just want to stay on. So
That place was probably electric.
Oh, everyone was just going crazy. So it was fun and be able to celebrate with him afterwards. And now, which is great, he's been doing the whole New York swing of media.
Sure.
So he
course.
did Kelly and Ryan and Good Morning America, and then he did Jimmy Fallon last night, if anyone watched that. And what's neat about that is he was there with
The Stanley
Ovechkin.
Cup.
The
And who else
Caps.
was he with?
Um,
Ovechkin and who else?
Ovechkin and Holtby.
Yes.
Holtby, yeah,
Holtby, yeah,
they're goaltender.
Ovechkin,
They're
the
goaltender.
the star of the team, and then Holtby the
And
goalie.
I think we have this right here. It shows Mike actually there with the Washington Capitals.
there it is. I held that baby above my head and it never gets old looking at it.
This is it. Look at that. It's a thing of beauty. All right. Well, I'm honored to do this with you guys. This is awesome, and I have something that I think will make it even better. This guy made history this weekend at the Belmont Stakes when he and his horse Justify won the Triple Crown.
good.
Please welcome one of the greatest jockeys in horse racing, Mike Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
There he is.
There he is.
You got all these big hockey players.
He
with
looks
him, Mike.
dapper.
Look at how,
I
look at how
know,
small he
dressed
was
up.
compared to the hockey.
Oh my god.
Smith, come on. Ovi, Braden, Mike. I have some paper straws.
Paper straws.
There you go. Yeah,
So good.
Civilized. Ready? On the count of three. Let's see how far we can get. One.
Now you gotta put your lips on it.
What are they drinking? I'm assuming it's alcohol.
Ooh, I'm sure. Some champagne.
I would think champagne.
Yeah.
I think it's taking too long. It's taking too long. I think you know what you gotta do.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Oh, that's even better than I thought they would do.
So good. I wish they'd done that with Mike, actually.
That would have been easier, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
man.
yeah.
What a special moment.
So
oh
I
my
thought
goodness.
that was neat that, your favorite, my favorite, all coming
Yeah.
together on Jimmy Fallon last night. So that was pretty neat to see that.
Our hockey and horse racing worlds collide.
Colliding, yeah.
So we'll have Mike in here in a couple weeks, so that's going to be exciting. But moving on to the Stanley Cup, I want to get y'all's thoughts because you guys are, the diehard hockey, especially you, Becky. Just give me your thoughts, right when it happened, knowing that Ovechkin won his first and the Stanley Cup champions are the Washington Capitals.
I'm getting chills. After 44 years, I was actually reliving a little bit of my LA Kings moment, to be honest with you. I feel like that moment, especially with the Remember the Titan soundtrack happening as they're
Right.
bringing it out and watching Ovechkin finally raise it, I was sobbing. I was sobbing, you guys, because if
You're like me then. I was sobbing when Mike won.
If you're a hockey fan, watching his face, and I mean, here he is today's parade, raising the cup. Here, we're putting up pictures in a moment here, guys. But his reaction, if you just rewatch it on YouTube, is just so authentic. It's so in the moment, and it's it was so palpable. Like he spent all these years, I mean, his entire life trying to obtain
to this moment.
Yes, this
very moment.
and not only just him, but watching him pass it on to his teammates, and
Right.
I mean that's such a tradition, and I don't know, I was so moved that they won. I mean, obviously what Vegas had done is not something to overlook. They were
Right.
incredible, and I feel like everyone was rooting for the Caps because of history, but for good reason. I mean, that moment was so special, and like I said, I was just weeping like a crazy person because it was such a special moment in hockey to witness that.
And what were your
Yeah,
thoughts,
that
David?
was. I just found it interesting how, I mean, watching the other finals that happened that we'll get to and we'll talk about. Versus, I mean, you saw the people there and they were like, oh, okay. but because this was it was a really close game. Game 5.
Game 5 was a very close game.
It was really back and forth, and then I believe the Knights had the early lead in the third, and then the Caps netted 2 unanswered goals to take the lead, and the end was just kind of like the Knights had the empty net, which is just for if you don't know, in hockey what you do is you
Last
can
2
take
minutes.
out the goalie
Right.
and you can substitute a 6th player on the off chance that the other team gets the puck and they score in your empty net. Sucks for you, but it's about having like the momentum in that last 2 minutes because it's so worth it. But that's what they did, and then I just kind of saw the time tick down. It was like 3 minutes, and then like 2 minutes, and then there was like 50 seconds left, and then 30, and then they had those last 2 pushes, and they didn't. Everyone counting down in that video from Washington.
I know, but I have to say,
you know, especially if you're a Capitals fan, you know, because I know that feeling when your team almost gets there but never finally wins. It is like, right?
That's what I'm
Everything,
saying is
you
I
know,
was
like
drawing-
for those Capital fans who've been waiting forever, you know, older fans, right? Who are like, this is all I want. Like before I die, just to have the Capitals win. I feel like they're the ones that really could, you know, enjoy this and really appreciate this win.
That was something I was kind of drawing on is in 2012. I mean, I was actually there, worked for the Kings, saw the cup in the building. And I think that was part of that moment is like, I had seen all these fans around me for 46 years just weeping and grown men weeping because this team was their life. And it's like, I could feel from, you know, across the country what every Washington fan was feeling. Right. And it's like, you just put yourself in that moment. And I'm just so happy for them.
So amazing because his face really says it all. When he wins the cup and he runs and hugs his teammate and he's just sitting on the bench like this and he's real excited too.
Yeah.
Like he's watching the time tick down, he's like counting it down and he jumps off of the bench right over the thing, skates out, hugs his teammates, hope he's there, they're all like hugging each other, it's great, and then when he holds the cup and he just hoists it up.
Yeah.
It's been such an elusive thing for him.
You can tell when someone really wants it because of the way they hold up the cup.
Yeah.
And when you just hold it up with all that
Right
passion,
there. Yeah.
and you just know you deserved it, and you finally did. I was so proud.
The
of
other
him.
one is from the parade, I think.
Yeah,
As a-
their
yeah.
parade was today,
Oh,
along
was
with the
it?
Doves. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was amazing. I mean, it seems like the Capitals kind of stuck to playing the game that they play throughout that series.
And it worked, though.
And it worked.
Yeah, I mean, everything came together for them, and I think that even Ovi's composure, we're so used to seeing him just, you know, so brute, and he was so calm and collected through every moment up until that last 30 seconds.
Yeah, that last
you
30
know?
seconds, and he was
And
like,
I
okay,
hope-
I think I won the cup.
And I hope now he does get the endorsement deals and the different things that. Remember when Jim was here, he was talking about how because being a Russian and not being an American or maybe even a Canadian, he's kind of been like.
Snubbed by the
snubbed
media.
a little bit,
Yeah,
you
it's-
know,
I
and
mean,
not
it's
been
fame.
really glorified like he should because he's got all the stats to prove, you know, what he's done in his career. And I hope this kind of shows now, right, that he can be a mainstream
100%
type of
it does.
athlete.
Sure.
He's just, I mean, it puts him right up there with Crosby. Like it puts them like right next to each other. People would often look and say, well, Crosby's got the ring, so you could say him, and then the media would pay more attention to him just because you know how the media works. But now I think he's right up there, and I just think that's so good for him to
He's
be
been
right up
classy
there.
through it all.
Well, and it's interesting you just brought that up because I heard something about the NBA and they were comparing, you know, LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and all these things and how Kobe's got all the rings. And it's like, but if you look at LeBron and Kobe, LeBron's individual game is so much stronger. And I look at Ovi and Crosby. I'm a huge Pittsburgh Penguin fan, so they're going to burn me at the stake for saying this. But
They
in a
will.
lot of ways, Ovi is a stronger player than Crosby,
What
if
is
not
the age
comparable.
difference with those two?
Crosby's 30, Ovi I think is 34, 32.
Oh, I thought it was this bigger
Yeah,
spread.
they're
Okay.
close.
No, they're about the same. Usually when you have two players like that, I mean, the Kobe LeBron thing, Kobe, retired earlier than
Yeah.
LeBron.
Ovechkin's
Usually-
32, so they're 2 years apart.
Usually when you have
only
players
2
like
years
that.
apart.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought Ovechkin was much
Yeah.
older. But I don't know. I just think it was great to be able to see that, and it does show though. You know, sports translates. It's not just about the game. And,
Not
you know,
at all.
People, you know, they really have a passion for it because it brings their family together, or they have moments when they're with someone that's maybe no longer with us. And there's, you know what I mean? There's so many things, and you saw that when they were, you know, speaking to some of the fans during the parade. I saw them saying, you know, my grandfather, he passed away, but this is for him. This win was, you know what I mean?
There's
Like
so
all
many
those different
stories.
and
That's amazing, though.
yeah,
Ovechkin
great.
needed this for his, I just think for himself, for his credibility, for all those things, because everybody just hangs that over you. If you don't have that championship, they don't look at your individual talent. It's terrible.
So this is all Ovechkin needed. So this is now his legacy.
Well, and even Barry Trotz, their head coach, has just gone through fire. So even watching him was just like, this is incredible. There's so much storyline and history to how much these players have busted their and coaching staff has busted their tails, and finally, you know,
and to just not make it to the Cup Finals every single year. They play the Penguins and they have that kind of series, and they always get beat. The Pens always go.
It was just elusive,
lose or win. I mean, the Pens, what were they going for 3 in a row?
Yes,
this year.
Yeah.
And the Caps, they just came in, and I mean, them playing against Vegas, that was that other storyline, which I think still holds its place, and I think that expansion team, but they came in. And they finally did it. And once they made it to the finals, you felt they finally did it.
And I think, you know, if you're a Golden Knights fan, I know no one would ever want to hear this, but if you are going to lose, I would rather lose it to a team like the Capitals and Ovechkin. I know
it's
maybe
different
that
than like the
sounds
Pens.
bad, but you know, it's
but it makes sense though.
Sure.
And I still
yeah.
think what they did was still tremendous to be able to, in their first inaugural season, be able to get to the finals and almost win it.
It's remarkable.
You can't take
yeah,
that
it's
away from
remarkable.
them.
Well, that's not the status quo though. The status quo is you're an expansion team, you come into the league, you're terrible, and then but they just drafted so. Like I spoke about this last week, they drafted so win now, which is drafting old proven guys versus drafting for a future, and I think that at least for now paid off.
Yes, it did. And they interviewed several of the players after, and they were, you know, sad and bummed out,
like
of
a little
course.
gracious,
But
though, too.
Very gracious. But also, I mean, I think that there's just this underlaying, like, of course they're bummed they lost the Stanley Cup.
Of course.
But I look at they're probably like, well, look at our season. They have nothing to be sad about. And going forward.
Well, and then I was going to ask you guys both, going forward, what do the Knights do now? Moving forward, and what do they need to change, or do they not change anything?
Well, there's two approaches. You can stay on the same path. You can play this win now, try to go sign free agents, try to free up some stuff, use these old guys as like trade pieces. Or you could let this maybe run a season or two and then just say, all right, I think we got to do what we did, or what we were supposed to do, tear down, build back up, and actually create something, a team that's actually...
Yeah, and I think there needs to be zero tearing down.
Really?
Like, this was such a...
long-term success, though?
There was so much chemistry. I think long-term, they need to add a couple players that are going to be there more long-term, but this is also, again, their inaugural season. They were feeling things out, and I don't even think that anybody realized the chemistry that these players
So you're saying they keep it as is somewhat, as much as they can.
Here's my question, though, or my thought about this whole thing is a lot of these players were plucked from teams that, you know, let them go. So there's a lot of angst, a lot of I'm going to play to prove myself, and now you wonder, is that going to carry
the fire
steam?
still there?
Yes.
Is this beginners, I wouldn't say luck, but this beginner's fire and like passion, is it still going to be there?
And we all know in sports, people say, "Oh, they have a great team; they'll win it next year." It doesn't. You know sports, you know it doesn't happen like that. There are chances they don't get past even the first round or even get to the playoffs. You know how that's happened before. If you're a Golden Knights fan, you have to wonder, was that it?
And there's it's a theme in sports where sometimes sometimes it'll happen where the team wins it, and I see this a lot in baseball, and you see it this year where
all the time.
where a team makes
it's hard to go back to
and
that.
I know you've dealt with it with the Giants too. They'll win in that little like every other year thing, and then every odd they were like low. But the Dodgers are doing it this year too. They made it to Game 7 last year, and they lost a really tough one. It was a really tough game to watch. I mean, I'm not a Dodgers fan, but it's a tough game to watch as a Dodgers fan. I know a bunch of
baseball. It's just tough to get to the playoffs.
And now
it's
they're
not
like
NBA or NHL.
They're like low in their division. They're not doing super good. It's just this weird little slump that people go through. I mean, teams go through. I don't get it.
So do you see the Capitals? Could they go back to back?
They could, yeah. But I mean, I think that what's going to be really difficult for them is, again, they just...
And now we're jumping ahead. I was picking to see what you guys think.
I mean, I look at Detroit and Pittsburgh, 09 and 2010, or 08 and 09. They back to back, and that is so rare. So Detroit took it in 08, and then Pence took it in 09. And I think that there's something to be said about that was a historical situation because it's so rare that you get there again. However, can they become a Pittsburgh franchise, if you will, and kind of pick up the successes? I think they can. I think if they
do think that they can?
Yeah, I think that they can be a contender next year.
Could it be like the NBA where we see this same matchup?
I guess.
Again in the Stanley Cup.
I want to say, of course, but I want to say at the same time, absolutely not, because for some, hockey is much different. It's just because the game's different than basketball. Every point you score in hockey it feels like it's way worth more than it actually is. So,
and it comes down to a healthy team, the defense
injuries,
and goaltending.
That's always the big thing is injuries.
Any team can show up. We saw it this year.
But
Any
if
team
they
can show up.
both stay somewhat intact, these teams, and stay healthy, we could see this.
Sure.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, why not? I mean, they did it this year. I mean, you say that for a lot of teams, but like, why not?
Right. By the way, guys, thanks for joining in on the chat. Chat with us. We love hearing what you have to say. And
What
chime
does
in.
the chat think about?
Chat is stoked.
Hockey?
This chat is stoked on
About
OV.
the Capitals?
Yeah, it's stoked on the Capitals.
As you should be.
Caesar
As
said
you
this
should
show's
be.
got some balls. So I'm like, all right, early.
Because you're calling out your Penguins.
I
Calling out your Penguins.
I am, but I'm calling out good players, good hockey, and I mean Sidney Crosby is by far the modern day Gretzky, but Ovi is so overshadowed, and I love that Jim brought that up about the North American media.
Yeah,
I
because that's
totally
something
see
I really ever really think about it until he said that. I'm like,
Sure.
oh wow, you're so right.
Yeah, because I'm like, I really actually haven't been seeing him in the media as much.
No.
So that's actually a thing.
And I think the ratings were really good for this Stanley Cup because because of the storylines, because of Ovechkin, to be able to do that and be able to see the Golden Knights in this new season. So between that,
Storylines
well,
drop.
and Ovechkin and Golden Knights, why not watch it?
And the thing about it is too is Crosby came into the league in 2005, so they were neck and neck. Ovechkin 2004,
Right.
and Crosby was such a young wonder kid. He came in at 18.
Yeah.
He
He had so much hype on him too.
youngest
He
captain.
did well with all that pressure.
Yeah, so I think that there was just the media was already on this just wonder boy. So
Yeah.
Ov was like the redheaded stepchild, unfortunately, but not on not last week.
But
No, not last week at all.
the Golden Knights will never have to worry about selling a ticket for next season.
They will not. Incredible fan base, and I mean a lot of people did love their pregame show. There was a lot of speak about that. So
We talked about that. And
We
you
did
said
talk
I
you
was
didn't
about
not
like
a
it.
fan, but to each
I'm a
their
fan.
own.
I am going to have to go to a game next year. We need to go though.
Okay.
We should
Heck
all
yeah.
go.
We
Because that T-Mobile
definitely.
Arena is amazing. I've been there for a concert, but
I mean, I'm wearing my
we have to
Kings
go.
jersey. I hope you know. But
Me too. Yeah. Vegas.
Maybe we'll go
yeah.
for a night's
There you go.
Kings.
Vegas fans can come at me, but I'm gonna wear.
I'd
I'm gonna
rather be
wear
a king than a knight.
Yeah. My Kobe jersey.
And
so.
you have next week possibly.
Yes, I'll be at the NHL Awards hosting there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. So you'll be able to come
Yes.
back and talk
Bring
about
some
that.
interviews,
And
yeah.
Now,
awesome.
who will be there at? People don't know about the NHL Awards. Who will be there? What's being presented?
Everyone will be there. They're gonna have the Norris Trophy, which is the best defenseman trophy. They're gonna. It's like any other award show. So there'll be best offense,
Defensive player,
defense,
MVP, everything.
MVP, all of that. Yeah.
And you'll be there in the house.
Everything.
You'll be able to report back.
I
and
don't
tell
know
us.
if I'm actually going into the
you're just doing red
award
carpet?
show, but I'll be on the carpet for sure. So
Well,
I'm going to
that's-
be dragging
You'll
everybody
get some
I
good
can.
sound bites.
Yeah.
And then you also have a guest coming in, possibly.
Yeah, Alex Faust, who is he
Took over Bob
replaced
Miller, right?
Bob Miller, exactly. So we're hoping to get him on next Tuesday, schedule permitting, because he's working with Tennis Network. So
Right. Well, good. Well, talking about back to back. How about those Dubs?
We found a back-to-back team.
Yeah, and KD
did.
back to back. I mean, I don't know. Like it was, after that game one, it really just pivoted and just completely. It was. You could see that series was done. I really feel like the Cavs are deflated. I'm not saying that they didn't still play 110% as we know LeBron always does, but it really did shift.
It really shifted. I mean, it was kind of one of those series where you look at game one and you say, okay, the Cavs are done. Then you look at game two and you say, okay, the Cavs are really done. Then you look at game three and you say, okay, the Cavs aren't done. And then you look at the end of game three and you say the Cavs
And then you look
are
at game four and you're
really
like,
done.
oh, they should have just thrown in the white towel and said, let's not even play this game.
It was just, I mean, who can say we didn't see it coming? I mean, some people saw the gentleman's sweep, but this is one of the worst LeBron teams he's ever brought to the finals. I think
And he
props
still
on
got
him.
there.
Props on him
And,
for getting to the
you know?
finals, but to bring a team like that and expect to beat these Warriors who were 73-9, then added Kevin Durant, and now are in their second year with Kevin Durant. It's just too difficult. Even for one of the greatest players, I think LeBron is probably top two up there with Jordan. That's still a debate. But even for him to be able to bring a team like that, and so what if you don't get past the Warriors? That's an accomplishment in itself.
But you know what's crazy enough? If you think about it, if Kyrie doesn't hit that big shot, do you know the Warriors would have won 4?
4 in a row.
I hope all the Cavs fans know this.
If the Warriors won one
and
more
if
game.
Draymond was in game 5, I mean, do you know what I'm saying? How this all? I mean, I know I'm playing
sure.
hypothetical,
But you're right, though.
So the Cavs really, I know they got their one, but they really, the Warriors, I'm just saying, they are a super team, and you can see this. They're having their parade today. It's it's phenomenal. And also in game 4, that I know it didn't matter too much, but having Iggy back in the lineup really helped.
It
as
helps.
well,
It just helps. It helps. It helps to like
And he
the
came off the bench, but it still was, having him in there on that court.
His presence, made a big
Yeah,
difference.
it makes the difference between a close game and a blowout. He just adds. I mean, he doesn't add what like KD adds, but he adds another layer of defense that just
Right.
helps the team, and he can provide his
And he's
offense.
a team leader. and he's helped with
Yes.
that.
He's a veteran guy who knows how to play these types of situations
And can go up against LeBron, which there's a lot to be said about that.
And I think this is funny right here. Okay, this is in the parade. This isn't superimposed, y'all.
Insult to
This is
injury.
actually so. This is the SFPD in the parade today with a whiny LeBron James, and I don't know why it's funny to me.
So are we done with the Jordan crying face? Now we're just on a LeBron crying face.
Can we please have it? Make
I
it
mean,
be the
Jordan
LeBron
didn't
crying
lose
face?
6 finals. I didn't say that.
Thank you.
I mean, again,
didn't
though,
say that.
am I the only person in the world that feels a little bad for LeBron?
No, only you. And Cavs fans.
Okay,
Only you and
okay,
Cleveland.
I will row in my own boat towards Cleveland because I think that part of my feel about this is that LeBron didn't stand a chance with this team. He
No,
didn't.
he did, and he still played. You know what LeBron does.
He played admirably,
and like a
yes.
beast, out of his mind. But I'll tell you what changed it for me. The cast. Now all of a sudden, after game 1, he had a broken hand.
Sure.
I mean, when he put the soft cast on, did the trainer say which arm we're going to put it on? Because we don't even, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it how
Sure.
it is. Like, that's the one thing. You can never question anything when it comes to Kobe, Hart, or
Sure.
MJ. MJ played, you know, we all know the flu game. We know that Kobe still played,
Right,
you know, injured,
right.
you know, everything. I have a problem with the Tom Brady thing. Now we lost. I'm going to say that something's wrong with me. I don't. I'm sorry, David. I don't
It's
like
true,
it.
though. No,
You
I
know
agree
what?
with you.
Take the loss, and you know,
Yeah.
and be happy that you got there and you played your butt off.
Sure.
And now you can have you have a team that maybe you can rebuild on if you're a decent person and stay in Cleveland. But don't now say, oh, after game
Right.
1, now my hand was hurt because he played really well for a
He sure
broken
did.
hand or something wrong.
I agree with you there, and I think that there's something to be said about your individual game. If he is on fire, he's doing good. He's like, I did my thing. My team
Thank
sucks,
you.
but yeah. So I
Why
agree
are
with
we
you there.
now
Yeah.
saying we have a broken hand? I mean, David, you have to
mean,
agree with me on this.
There's
I
no
definitely-
humility
it's
there.
disgusting.
I
I'm
definitely
sorry.
agree with you. It's
I don't know what
kind
our,
of sad.
our chat room says. I would love to know what they think about this cast.
Excuses. It's not a good. It's not sportsmanship right there.
Thank you.
You can't make excuses if you lose. If you lose, what you want to do is be gracious, or if you want to be angry about it, fine. But don't just say that you lost and just understand.
Take it.
Yes.
Understand.
You're still one of the best that's ever played.
Like, just, I mean,
Right.
what he should have rather said was, can I have a little slack? I mean, I know I'm one of the greatest, but, like, have you seen
In
who
my
they have on
team,
that
yeah.
roster? They added Kevin Durant.
Right.
Like, I beat Kevin Durant last time I played him
Yeah.
in OKC, but I can't beat him now.
And here we are with the cast. I mean, I just want to know if he knew which hand to put it on. Because I just don't think. I don't think.
Did
I'm
he
sorry,
say-
I'm going to say I don't think it's legitimate.
Was it an injury, or was it, how severe did they say the injury was?
Becky, you can look it up. I'm not sure. I just know that after game 1, now he's saying that he played the last 3 games with I don't know if it's broken, fracture. I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
apparently
if
he
it's-
fell on it wrong or something. It says,
And we all know he's a baby. So if that really was
Yeah.
the case, he would have talked about it right after.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I remember reading about this, and you know, his people were telling him to put a cast on. He didn't want to. Was the rumor? So yeah, I mean, like you said, it's
I just think it's funny
inti-
that after the press, you know, his presser for, you know, after game 4, I don't know.
But here's the
I'm
thing.
sorry. It's just very LeBron, and this is why people don't
Sure,
like him, okay?
it's got to exactly. There's no integrity. There's no honesty, humility. Like you said, take it and say, we didn't win. I'm moving. I'm leaving Cleveland. I'm moving on to the next thing. You know, but
Here's my thing on the LeBron debate. I definitely think that he lacks a lot of integrity. I
That's
know
what I have a
he's
problem
with.
walked off the
Yeah,
game with like
sure.
stomach cramps because of the AC in San Antonio. But at a certain point, I just gotta say, you know what? I respect the game. I know,
Right.
I know
he
the
just has a lot of
integrity.
excuses, David.
He has the excuses, but sometimes you just gotta respect the game he plays. If he makes excuses and he's not scoring like 51 points in a game 1, then don't make the excuse. Then don't even dare.
Yeah.
But when you're playing, he's such an amazing player. He's got one of the best basketball IQs I have ever
course he
seen.
and that's what I feel bad about. When I say I
Exactly.
feel bad, it's like I feel bad because that kind of skilled player on that team.
I just
it
think he should be at a different level.
I guess, but
Does that make sense? Where he's so good that he shouldn't have to sort of come up with these.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I
course,
get
of
it. But
course.
I still can't not respect him. I still
no,
have
I
to
respect him on
him.
the court. There's a lot of antics of why I don't
Of
like
course.
him.
Well, and the chat room
getcha.
agrees. The chat room thinks he lacks, you know, leadership and all of that.
Oh,
too.
he does.
and
He
then
does.
if you want to go back to let's go back to game 1, okay? Now let's talk about Kobe Bryant, okay? If that would have happened, you know, if they're huddling up and they're going to say, okay, after Hill hits his second at the line,
Right.
let's make sure to get the offense rebound and let's, you know, call timeout. Or Kobe would have talked to his players is what I'm saying. LeBron doesn't say anything. Then they go back to the bench after now going into overtime, and MJ and Kobe would have been yelling, at JR, telling him this
Getting
and that.
in
Blah,
there,
blah.
yeah.
What does LeBron do? He goes over, asks Ty if there was a timeout. He says, yeah. Then he's like putting his hands up, going, whining. Like, there's something where he's not a leader, you guys, when it comes to
He's not
his
taking
players.
ownership.
And he doesn't. He needs to be the guy who talks to his team. So, people got mad at Kobe for getting on his teammates, but he made them play better. And he made they never were in the dark. If there is a timeout left, if there's what they need to do, he doesn't communicate with his players well enough. And that's my problem with him.
Sure.
That would have never happened with Kobe or MJ.
Sure. Well, and we saw that. That was also that was the
And then he
reason.
sits there, and then JR and him are at 1 seat apart, and I don't know. That's just something that.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to look at like him, Kobe was definitely a leader. Towards the end of the career, you saw a lot of turmoil between Kobe and his new teammates. He didn't like how the game was changed. He didn't
And those
like
are
how
also
they were
young
changing.
kids who can't take the heat and are
Sure,
soft too, though.
sure.
And-
as the game has changed.
I mean,
LeBron could say whatever to, MJ could say whatever to Scotty, to, Horace Grant, to whoever, Dennis
'cause-
Rodman, whatever, and they respect him and they know what to do.
Right.
I just don't like that LeBron just kind of whines a lot and just like crosses his arms. I don't know.
yeah,
There's a lot
I'm not a
stuff
fan of that
that's-
either. I think if he took that out of his game, he could be regarded as
Thank
one of
you.
the best.
It's mental,
but
yeah.
it's still. I'll say it.
It's
Here's
just
my
an
point.
individual. I know he's great individually.
I don't like it,
just
but he's a
don't-
great player.
Yeah.
He could be a more gracious player. He could be a better player off the court. On the court, fine. Off the court, come on.
And I'm going to agree with Charles Barkley, what Charles said after the game. Now we have to go through this whole offseason of every day, ESPN and whoever else
Where's
talking about
LeBron
where's
going?
LeBron going
I
and
know,
the decision
I
too and
know.
all this stuff. Like, if he is a decent person, you would stay in the land, which he says he loves the land and where he's from. Stay in Cleveland. You went to the finals with a phenomenal team. Why don't you rebuild the team that
Sure.
you have there?
Sure.
Why are you going to try to go somewhere else? And we just saw today that his son committed to a high school in Los Angeles.
We did.
So if that's also kind of telling. Plus, he has 2 mansions in Los Angeles.
I think he's coming to LA. I feel in my
and
bones.
obviously, with Hollywood and everything
Yeah.
else that draws him, to LA. I just don't. If he wants to win a championship right away, I know that the Lakers are going to go for him, and I know they've got the room and the salary to give him the max deal. But I don't think he's not going to win it.
No, but he's also in a point in his career, I think, where he's just frustrated with Cleveland, frustrated with that whole
Right.
thing. It's that mentality again of the whining, the like, oh, I
But
don't
I
know,
know
I'm
he
gonna
wants
change
to
it
win
up.
another ring. It's not going to be
No,
with Los
it's
Angeles.
not.
not.
But-
And does he want to go? Okay, let's think about his career. He has played all of his career in the East, where he can dominate every day. You go to the West, and you're playing OKC, San Antonio,
Sure.
We ain't
Utah,
making it to the finals in the
Golden
West.
State Warriors, Houston. He's not going to be able to dominate like he does all the time. I think if it's him, if I were him, you'd want to stay in the East because he can dominate. I don't know about him coming
How do you
to
feel
the
about
West.
the Celtics? We've been hearing jokes about him showing up with the
uh,
Celtics.
I don't know.
I think if he goes anywhere along that Eastern Seaboard
People are
area
saying
type,
Philly.
Philly.
Yeah.
But you got Ben Simmons and Embiid. There's not really room for
Oh,
him.
it's a picture of him and Lonzo.
I don't know if there's room for him as another big. In
I
Philly.
think he,
I don't know.
I think what
There's
he
so
does
many-
there is he completes the process now. I think the process will be fine without him, but he kind of puts that win now mode into the process.
I just don't
which
think Ben Simmons develops as he
I
can
like-
with LeBron there.
I like him there. I definitely think I like him there for the team, but for the individual players, I think
I'd
Ben
much
Simmons.
rather be in Philly than in a Lakers uniform. I'll
Tell
give
me,
you that.
tell me about it.
Yeah, well, and so does Kobe. What do you guys think about those mean tweets? And he's like
People
going back and
saying,
forth.
"Oh no, I don't like LeBron. I'm a Kobe fan." Once he gets on the Lakers, guess what jersey they're wearing? Yep, LeBron 23, yellow and gold.
And then you
yellow and gold's
wonder.
the same
I mean,
color.
if you
Yellow and
want
purple.
if he wants to win a championship, you would think it'd be Houston, because obviously he can't go to,
But
to the
where's-
Warriors.
where's the respect,
But then
though?
you wonder exactly. But then you wonder, they would definitely have to do a sign and trade deal because Houston doesn't have enough money for him. So you kind of wonder, would they have to get rid of
Sure.
Capella? What would they have to do? The moves or the dynamic of Harden and Chris Paul and LeBron, does it work? Because we all know that chemistry is everything. So you kind of wonder. And then the Warriors are even saying, as it is funny, but they will take a meeting with him just to talk to him to see, because there are even people are like starting rumors that AD would even come to the Warriors. But,
Oh please!
but you
on
kinda-
a veteran minimum.
right? And then you look, okay, but then what? They get rid of Draymond and Clay to have LeBron. There's so many different factors.
They're not getting
Does he
LeBron.
want the money and go to to the Lakers, or does he want to win a championship? So that'll be interesting. But I really don't want to hear about LeBron every day.
No,
You're
I don't
gonna
either.
though. You are going to,
Yeah, I think
and
the
it's
next
gonna
few
be
weeks is going to be.
It's going to be the same thing
Yep.
because I remember in 2010 he goes to the Heat. He brings along Chris Bosh from Toronto. Everyone hates him now.
Yeah.
If he leaves again, is he going to be hated
But it's
now?
that whole thing, what was it called? The decision, that whole
The
thing.
decision, yeah.
And then he I don't know.
I just
Take my
think
talents to
this
South
whole-
Beach.
The whole show, and then after he got so much scrutiny of why he did it, then like months later, oh, by the way, it went to the Boys and Girls Club, some of the money. Why didn't you say that in the beginning?
Right.
I don't know.
I agree with you. I don't get the LA thing if it's about a championship, but I also see him
And
as
I
like,
think
I
he'll-
want a challenge, you know?
And I don't see him being those young guys. I think he'll destroy that team. I don't think he's going to help. Those
Again,
young
if it's
players.
about
These are young
leadership, yeah.
Thank you.
If
If
it's
he
about
can't win with
leadership, he
this
can't do
Cavs
it.
team, why can he think he can win with that Lakers
Sure.
team?
Right.
That Lakers
Again,
team's young.
it would be the stunt move, the going to LA. I don't know, maybe.
I would love to see him stay in Cleveland. And you know what? I'll tell you this: he stays in Cleveland, he'll gain my respect and a lot of other people's respect.
Wow. All
Yeah.
this you said, and he stays in Cleveland, he gains your respect?
He'll gain my respect. A little
Yeah,
bit.
I think
You know what I mean?
I think
I'm
he
just
would
saying,
too. Yeah,
it would show that he has some kind of loyalty.
At least
and
loyalty's.
integrity
I mean, these are grown men in a business trying to make some money, but loyalty, you gotta respect it.
right.
You gotta
But
respect it.
I see him shipping out.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
do,
again,
too.
if his son is going to a high school in LA, I think
It's all lining up, but I don't like how it's lining up.
Or does he go to the Clippers?
Okay, it can line up like that. It can definitely line up like that. We'll take him. We're kind of desperate at this point.
And does he fit with the Clippers?
I think that
Doc Rivers is.
I think Doc is. He's kind of lessened in coaching skill. Like I feel like Brad Stevens now feels like a better coach than Doc. But Doc coached that Celtics team farther than Brad Stevens did. He had a better team too, but. I think Doc could work with LeBron just because they both have the experience in the NBA, just
the
like
Clippers
Doc.
extended. They gave him they extended his
They
deal,
extended his
1 year
deal.
deal, only 1 year. Though.
But the
I still
Clippers-
think Doc's out after a year too. Which,
They're in
if
a
you
weird
think
Yeah, I
about
thought
that,
he was out this year. I don't
so
know.
did I.
Wow.
But Jerry West wants him out. But what's crazy is you
Good.
start to think about that dynamic. Okay, so if Doc leaves after that year, then LeBron can bring in Tyronn Lue, who is his coach if he wants to have.
And if
So
T.
it's
Lue
kind
wants
of-
to come coach the Clippers, more than happy. Please
Right.
bring LeBron. We can ship some guys.
Yeah, that could be a game changer.
Throw
for
him
sure.
around, trade DJ, keep
Right.
DJ, whatever we do. You know what? If it works, it works.
Yeah, so that's the.
I could
you
get
know,
into it, but
it's interesting. But again, the Warriors win back to back. KD, he's the
Got
12th player
MVP.
to win multiple MVPs. I don't know. I don't know.
I feel
love
about that though.
you could have picked anyone. You could really. I mean, I think it should have been Steph, but you could have picked
you
anyone.
look at the game 3. That was
Yeah.
a game of the ages. The way
Yeah,
that
sure,
KD
sure,
played.
sure.
I mean, that was. I mean, he
But
could
s-
shoot it from 60 feet. He
But
was,
so
he
do you
was
pick
so
an MVP
money.
on one game though? I mean, do you
No, but he played well consistently throughout the other games. And then you look at Steph. Where was Steph game 3? He was 1
Yeah.
for 10.
Yeah,
from
no,
the
he had
three.
a
I mean,
rough.
he had
If it wasn't for KD, they wouldn't have won that game anyway. So.
And I know that Curry
would.
had 37 points in game 4. I still think that KD though he's a monster and he played it.
Well,
you know.
it's unfair because he's just so long, and they
So
list
long,
him at
he's
what,
long.
like
He can do
4'5",
everything.
and he's
Being-
like 8'2". Like
But being that long and how he can drive the basket, he can shoot, he plays deep, he can do everything. I mean, I don't know. I'm a BKD fan, hook 'em horns, so I love him. But it was great. I mean, I think it kind of was a little boring. I think for most fans, I hear a lot of fans
was.
say, "Okay, I
Little
don't
bit,
want to
yeah.
see the Warriors
Yeah.
and the Cavs in it next year." I do not think you will see the Cavs there again, unless LeBron happened to stay and builds this
Yeah.
team. But I do think that.
Oh, forget it. If LeBron doesn't stay, no. I mean, it'll
but
be
the
another
Warriors
year.
can continue to do this, and I know it's going to get old unless LeBron's wants to come over to the West.
But to that point, why? I mean, at the same time, they're playing the best basketball of any team, so they've earned their spot. Like, just enjoy it, soak it in. I
Right.
mean, yeah, it's boring to see another team. Well, they're playing incredible basketball. They're playing team ball. Everything's
Right.
going right.
People
so.
just hate the super team.
because
Of
people
course.
want their team to play incredible
Right.
basketball,
Right.
so
Well,
you feel
we hate
jealous.
that in
and-
hockey too. Like
Yeah.
nobody wants to see the same teams in the final. I mean, we get it, but it's like, I mean, until your team can get their SHIT together.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, but we do know that all of the sports networks are going to be.
Yeah, they
everywhere.
are.
There.
I mean, they're not
Man.
even. ESPN is not even. I'm going to call it ESPN. They're not even showing the Warriors parade. They're talking about where's LeBron going.
Of course, I saw that. No, that's
I mean,
terrible.
come on.
Yeah.
If it was LeBron won, they love LeBron.
Well, and they-
LeBron
or-
Center.
ESPN loves.
Or they were
LeBron.
talking about the rivalry between LeBron and Kobe now because of the
Right.
whole talk about LeBron going to LA and how
Yeah.
that's going to mess up Kobe's franchise and Kobe doesn't want to disappear.
Oh, I will
it's like,
be. You guys, I'm gonna be. If he ends up in a Laker uniform, I'll be devastated because it'd be hard to I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna-
I think a lot of fans will feel that way, but a lot of fans will also be like, "Ooh, we have LeBron." You know, they'd be like,
It's a whole nother dynamic when you're like, oh, we actually have LeBron now. Like, you
Right.
can't say all this stuff because now you have LeBron. Now you're gonna support him. When people are like, oh, but you were a LeBron hater. Oh, no, I was just saying that stuff because.
Yeah.
Oh no, you
It'll be-
no.
no.
I will never say I like LeBron. Like I said, I may have respect for him, but I'll never like him. But again, before we move on, I just it'd be interesting to see where he does go because if he does come to the West and he plays with Houston or Warriors, are people going to say, oh, he's kind of a sellout that he's going to?
I think
just
Houston
to
could be
the
interesting.
ring.
If he goes to
Yeah.
Houston, no respect. It's gone. Like, don't go form a super team. I don't think he wants to.
What
but
if he
don't.
went to the Warriors? Let's just say, like in a weird world.
If I could lose respect again after losing respect for him, I think it'd be like that 3 times over.
But why do you think him going to Houston why would you lose respect for
because
that?
it's the fact of, like, KD is a great player, but I can't respect him solely because he went to the Warriors not to lead a team, but he went to just go chase rings.
And that's why OKC will never let
Sure.
him.
I
Okay,
can't
fair enough.
respect players. LeBron, I don't think he has to go
Houston.
chase a ring. I know you can say that he tried to do that at Miami, but Miami, that team, that wasn't really a lot. And they brought in Chris Bosh, and people are thinking that Chris Bosh did more than he did. He was a third piece. He was like what Kevin Love was now, but not as much. He was doing stuff in Toronto, but not as much as people
And the poor guy
thought
can't
he
even play
was.
now.
Exactly. I feel terrible for that. But like D Wade, he had the nice combination. They won a couple championships.
But it's the monkey on his back still with LeBron. He wants to have as many championships as Kobe or
absolutely.
MJ.
But if he does
And
that,
that's what's on his
if he
mind
goes to
constantly.
Houston, I just don't do that. I
Because
don't
it's
think he
about
wants to,
legacy.
though.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
he's not looking at like, yeah, I'm one of the best ball players. It's a legacy.
Well, if your
for
legacy
him.
gets cemented by chasing rings
I
and going to
know.
a team that
Yeah.
already is close enough, like, is that
Yeah,
really
but
your
he's
legacy?
not thinking of it that way, unfortunately. It's about trophies.
So it'll
wish
be
he was.
interesting, and we will know every single day
I know.
what is going on.
Open your
Another
phone,
person that
LeBron.
irritates me because I'm just like irritated.
Good segue.
is Terrell Owens has publicly announced that he will not be attending Canton at the Hall of Fame because he has said that since he was on a first ballot candidate, that he now feels that he
on,
will
ego.
celebrate in his own way without being in Canton. And I'm sorry.
And
Like,
this, ladies and gentlemen, we need to strap in for.
I'm gonna just sit here, get ready.
I have known T.O. before he was T.O. And I am shocked. Like, this has never happened in the history of the game, of the NFL, for someone. There are guys who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s who finally get into the NFL as a veteran during the veteran committee, and they would never say, well, I should have been a first ballot. I'm not going. It is disgraceful. It is disrespectful to not just the 2018 class, but to the entire Hall of Fame. And I'm just disgusted with it.
I'll say it. I said it before, and I'll say it again. He needs to. They need to trumpet, meaning like take it away.
back.
Take
And
it
I
away
find it
from him.
ironic that the minute they finished his bust is when he was like, "Oh my god."
Of course.
Oh, well, now you have my bust done. I think I won't show up.
And
It's
David Baker, who's the
disgusting,
president of the Hall of Fame, has already said, "Okay, he said we understand, we respect his decision, but we're still going to have a great celebration in Canton, and he can, basically."
It's just the
kinda-
ego. Sometimes the ego takes over, and it just come on now.
And you got to look
on.
at the media. It's unlike the MLB, where for Cooperstown they actually do votes. For the NFL, they actually come together, a bunch of media, and they actually discuss this in the table. And if you're that person who didn't want him in, or you're that person that finds out, all right, we'll let him in. Aren't you furious?
Yes.
Oh, we let you in, and now you're not even going to be grateful?
Oh, I mean,
Come on.
this it's just
and
like
then
you said,
you could see
slap in the
the
face.
way he wrote this public statement. You guys probably saw it, on his social media,
yes.
thanking the Cowboys, thanking the Niners. I'm laughing my ass off because that guy had no respect for the organizations after he left, and especially the quarterbacks, and talk bad about Romo, Garcia, and McNabb. 3 of the best, that he played with, and he just I don't know what it is about this guy. Like, he constantly just keeps continuing to make people hate him.
Do you think it's a publicity stunt? Like
No,
he just
you know what I think it is? Me and my father were talking about this. We do know that he is always in financial distress. So that's why I think he'll probably go, maybe I'm wrong, but he'll go to Vegas and he'll do some kind of big party in Vegas and celebrate and have people charge to get in and sign autographs all week long and, try to do a money grab and try to get, 150, 250 grand, whatever, to celebrate there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of words for it. I don't. Is he retweeting and then retweeting and then commenting on his own retweet?
Yes.
I just wish he would.
Is he talking to himself there, or what's going on, y'all?
I think
Graceful.
I think he's definitely talking to himself. If you guys can see the screen, we're gonna put it up in a minute. But
Wait, am I right, or am I reading this wrong?
yeah, just FYI, if you know, I got mad love for yeah, he's definitely adding himself, like he's adding to his tweet.
Is that an ad or is that a?
It's weird,
It
right?
kind of feels like he's responding to it almost.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, but you can respond. Like if you have more to say, you can
Yeah,
respond.
but it's
to
like it doesn't feel like he has more to say, but it feels like he's someone else responding like, "Yeah, Tio, you get him."
Yeah,
You go.
He's trying to dig himself out of such a big hole, but there is no digging up. But like you said, if he just keeps getting himself in trouble,
And then people say, does this tarnish his, his career's legacy? He's already tarnished it when he was, I'm going to be in the bowling league. Oh, I'm going to be arena football. Oh, I'm going to do every reality show that asked me to be on. Like, you've already tarnished it.
He's calling out people for being salty to him. I'm like, you are the salty of the saltiest. You're Himalayan salt right now,
I mean, I can just go on and on because I don't know. It's such an honor, y'all, to go to Canton and to do this. I don't understand.
How do you feel other people, like other athletes who are striving for this?
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. That's a dream as a kid.
How do you think that they're responding? Have you read?
Disgusted.
Yeah.
Disgusted.
It's a dream though. That's what you want to do. Like I want to be a football player and I want to go and I want to get into Canton. I want to have my bust and my plaque and everything will look nice.
That is everything to an athlete. We all know when you make it into the hall in any sport, that is it.
Well, have any of these?
That is the Holy Land.
Have any of these athletes, I wonder, like tweeted at him or called him out and been like, "Dude, bro, you are."
I mean, I don't know who has actually tweeted at him. I know
he's tweeting at himself.
I know Hall of Famers that are already in that I've talked to that are just begging him to change his decision. Steve Young publicly said it. Like this isn't like okay, you made a mistake and okay, people will forgive you. This is forever.
Forever, yeah.
This is
you
forever.
Can't ever take it back.
Like when he's 6 years old, rocking on his porch in his chair, like he's gonna wish he went.
Right.
And I don't know if it is it that because he knows when he goes on stage he doesn't know what he would say in his speech, or I don't know all the different dynamics of why he's, besides the fact that he didn't get in first ballot, but there has to be more. Is it because he'd be booed? Is it because he can't thank his players that he played with because they hate him, because he was a horrible person, he was horrible to the media, he was horrible to fans, he was horrible to his teammates?
Yeah, it might be easier just to back out if you've got all these demons, hanging over you.
Then you go on the flip side and said, wow, what a way to redeem myself.
Yeah.
I can go in and cry and snot flying out of my nose and be like, I'm sorry for everything I did and please forgive me, because we all know people are forgiving, and say, hey, I messed up. I was going through some mental health issue, whatever you want to say. And you know what? I think people would say, hey.
Well,
of course they would. That's how people work.
But
Thank you. So why wouldn't he do that?
But that's the question we were talking about with LeBron too. It's the age-old question as humans: why aren't we able to just like suck it up, say we did wrong, we go for the redemption?
And people respect saying, I'm sorry.
Of course.
I made a mistake. And I now want to say that, I'm here at the Hall of Fame, and I just want to thank everyone who helped me with the success. And I'm sorry and maybe say sorry. I'm telling you, it would have gone.
But it's
one
word.
Way.
One word. Pride. That's what stops everyone from being able to.
Ego.
To
I
cross
just
over.
think that now, I didn't think he could get any. It could get any worse.
I don't think anyone did.
No.
With Tio, and now it's wow.
Yeah, next level. Yeah.
I thought it was a joke when I saw that. I couldn't believe it.
Me too. I was like, oh, this is serious. He's actually not.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now,
like,
and he's not going to be able to flip. He's not going to say, oh, well, now I changed my mind.
Oh, actually, can I come back?
The way that he is, this is it. So
No.
I will be curious to see in the second week of August, where he ends up celebrating with his family and friends, because I think it's a money thing, and I think he'll capitalize on it somehow because he needs the money.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah,
So-
and it karma's a real thing.
And he has a lot of kids, and I'll leave it at that. So he probably needs to do something money wise. But anyways, so we will be back here.
Yes, we will. Talking about LeBron.
We will be back here. Same place, same time. We're going to have a guest in studio talking Stanley Cup, and then we'll have Mike in as well. And that's it. It's going to be a little more. I know it's not going to be as exciting as Warriors and Capitals and Mike winning the Triple Crown, but it'll still be fun. We'll, always a good time.
You never know
here
what will
on the
happen in a
show.
week.
You never do.
Yeah.
You don't. And I want to thank you guys for always joining me and listening to me rant. I got to
it's
rant
so
for
good.
a long time.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's
I'm
fun.
very
Strapping
passionate.
in, getting ready.
I never sit on the fence. I'm very opinionated, but
It's good.
It was good. It was fun, and happy for your Capitals.
Happy for the Caps. Happy for the Caps. Happy for hockey. Happy for your Dubs.
Yeah.
You know, it's good. It's a good time.
Congratulations
Everybody
to-
bury your pride and take forgiveness. That's the moral of this story.
Exactly.
There
So
you go.
congratulations to the Dubs, to the Capitals, and to our dear friend Mike Smith on winning the Triple
Yes.
Crown. Until next time, you will see us on the Weekly Pass. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire... From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See
you
you
later.
later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.